Today we're going to go over the aftermath of the Civil War. So we've learned about the Civil War and some of the events that happened, but now we're going to figure out what changed in the Constitution when the Civil War ended. So first of all, there was an agreement at the end of the war. The agreement basically ended the war, but it also talked about what were the steps that were going to happen after, particularly about slavery. So slaves were freed as Union troops entered areas. So every time the Union troops started entering into specific areas, the slaves were freed along with those troops that went in. At Appomattox Courthouse, General Lee surrenders to General Grant on April 9th, 1865, and the troops returned home if they gave up their weapons. So some Confederate officials were put on trial for war crimes, and the Confederate soldiers were able to go home if they gave up their weapons. All other Confederate generals agreed to similar terms in surrender. So a lot of the generals had to agree to not run for office or do anything else again, not try to lead another war when they surrendered. This reunited the country and completely ended slavery, which then led to something called Reconstruction. Reconstruction happened from 1863 to 1877. And it divided the 11 Confederate states into 5 military districts. That's important because the military districts ended up being part of the Union, which was the Northern troops. So military commanders were able to register voters and hold elections in each of these states. They wrote new state constitutions, which now included suffrage, which basically included voting rights for African Americans. And they ratified the 14th Amendment. It also abolished peonage, which is paying debt and labor. So this idea of maybe not having slaves, but using prisoners as free slave labor, they ended that as well. They also created a program to reintegrate 11 Confederate states in the U.S. with a citizen Black population. So the United States, the amount of citizens ended up doubling because of the amount of enslaved people, and they all were able to become citizens. For political repercussions, there was a debate between the role of the federal government and how it should play out in the South and bringing back in the Confederate states. And the Republicans controlled the South. So blacks were given the right to vote, and majority voted for Republican candidates, which was what Abraham Lincoln was. And former Confederate leaders could not run for office. We also had this issue with carpetbaggers. So these were Northerners who went down south, who started to gain political power because they started up buying a lot of land and homes because it became so cheap down south, and because they brought down a lot of Northern money. There were new amendments that were created. So in 1865, the 13th Amendment ended slavery. In 1866, the 14th Amendment allowed all people who were born in the U.S. to be citizens. And it also denied former Confederate officials the right to hold office. And in 1869, the 15th Amendment happened, where it prohibited denial of suffrage based on race, color, or from being a former slave, which basically said anybody who was a former slave, or if you were Black, it didn't matter, you were allowed to vote. Changes in African-American society. So the North increased a sense of unity to the country. Their role as veterans and citizen status, they became very different up north. And there was a large migration of Black people who lived down south going up north to work in factories and things. South, they enter as U.S. citizens. They're able to reunite family members. You have a bunch of enslaved people who go out and try to find family members. And they're able to vote, and they are able to elect Black officials. They're later denied this right, of course, because of Jim Crow laws, but initially this is something that happened right away. The majority of Black people still lived in poverty. They were uneducated. They're former slaves. So that is something that was really difficult to get away from. And there were schools for Black people. Of course, it was segregated, and it was usually ran by educated Northern Black people or abolitionists who came down south to run these schools. It also led to the creation of Black churches. This was probably the longest lasting effect because it was a center of Black community, and it still is in many people's lives. A big center of community is the church. Changes in Southern white society. There were over 600,000 deaths and more died of diseases during the war. So there's a significant amount of men in the Southern white society who had died during the war. Southern whites, the Southern white male population was devastated. 18% of the population was murdered or died of diseases during the war, and that was from the ages of 13 to 45. They remained angry with Reconstruction changes and the elevation of blacks. They were really upset that blacks became citizens, that they were able to vote. That was a big problem. And they created a sense of white unity against black people in the black race. Many poor whites were equally bad economic conditions. A lot of them were also uneducated, and a lot of them were living in poverty that was similar to many people who were enslaved and became citizens, but they had very similar conditions to each other. Post-war economy, southern states lost most of the wealth because their agricultural society was the most impacted. Prosperous land was also destroyed. So land, like physical land that had beautiful crops and was able to grow a lot of things, was destroyed because of wars that were fought on it, battles that were fought there. Wealthy plantation owners lost wealth when slaves, basically they had value as property, became free. And cotton became king again. So we ended up having something called sharecropping that happened, which basically was very limited pay for agricultural work. 2/3 of the people who were sharecroppers were black and 1/3 were poor whites. Oops, sorry, I have to go back. 1 second. And lastly, the northern, there was a huge economic boom, industrial. So there was a big amount of immigrants that came from Europe, and then there was a bunch of migrating black citizens from down south who came up. And as a result, it was very, very cheap labor, and factories were booming up north. Backlash to changes. There were very angry Southern whites because they obviously had dealt with a huge blow in many ways, their economy, the lives of some of their children who fought in the war, and what happened to their states and the country that they had grown up in. Black codes, laws denying black rights. So this is when we start having Jim Crow laws coming into effect. So because these citizens were angry, they decided that they wanted to punish all the new black citizens by creating Jim Crow laws. And they were refusing to see black people as equals. This is when the KKK gets formed in 1866. A lot of these were former Confederate troops, and they would attack black and liberal Republicans. And there was a lot of fear and opposition, and there was trying to vote to demand more rights, but it was a real struggle. They ended up forcing the federal government to send more troops to regain order because it was becoming such a problem down south. Post-Reconstruction, after this time period, After this time period, federal support for Reconstruction ends up ending. This is after 1877. Troops are pulled out under President Hayes, and the federal support for Reconstruction ended. They were no longer going down south to address these issues. They decided to stop. Southern whites again regained political and economic control, and then this is when they are able to create more Jim Crow laws. This is when they're able to take away basic rights that black people might have enjoyed before, and they're able to get rid of voting rights. And the South stayed deeply divided and unequal until the civil rights movement in the 1960s, which we had gone over. And that is the end of post-war. This is mostly what you needed to see after the Civil War, what had changed in terms of Reconstruction.